R.I.P. Big Ounce. He's yahooing with the angels now.
Oh, Big
I'm Spike.
Ounce.
Spike, that's the worst death I've heard about in the
Yeah.
Did you
past
not know,
24
Cal?
hours.
Yeah, Big Ounce died. He was a very old prairie dog, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's wahooing with the angels.
Woohoo.
Fucking gnawing off Henry Kissinger's fingers.
Pouring out a 40 and wahoo.
Don't imply that Big Ounce is in hell with Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, fuck you.
What a terrible thought, Big Ounce in hell.
Yeah.
But
Look,
yeah.
I don't believe in an afterlife, but if there is one, the prairie dogs get to go to heaven, especially the Big Ounce, and the Kissinger does not.
Those are the rules. By the way, is my canvas showing up?
It will in a second. There again. I had to set up the stream,
Okay.
so it gets wonky until I'm done setting everything up.
Yeah. Hi, Nudist. Hi, Ruby in the Rough. Hi, Sack of Books.
Why
Hi,
is it
Miss
not working?
Alamia.
Sorry. It's wonky,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to make it work. So you're.
I believe in you. I know you can fix it.
Some slack.
Spike,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna get a 4-hour-long H Bomber Guy video soon.
Holy shit. That's a bruiser. What's he working on?
It's about plagiarism.
Oh shit. Oh, now I'm really looking forward to it. Oh god, I love Harris so much.
He goes real hard on Illuminati.
Good.
Is this okay to talk about here?
I mean, it's on his.
It's totally appropriate because Harris was one of the first people to be all like,
No. I mean, like, isn't this Patreon stuff?
Well, people have talked about it publicly, so people know that it's coming.
Yeah.
But the secret main character isn't public.
Ooh shit! Oh my god.
Okay,
but
so I'm having trouble getting Spike's fucking stream to work.
Oh no, I see it.
No, Spike, you're on a delay.
Oh.
Remember,
okay.
you're on a delay. You're not seeing what I'm actually seeing. And
Sack of Books, yes, he's gonna give us a Christmas gift.
Oh, I can't fucking wait. I love Harris's shit. And remember, Harris's one. I'm sorry, H Bomber Guy. I should actually use his internet name in case people don't know his government
people
name.
know that his name is Harry.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, he was one of the first people to be all like, "Bitch, I know you didn't just with Illuminati," because he actually fucking came with receipts and cited like, "Here's a video where you just straight up plagiarized another documentary."
Okay, I got it to work. Oh, God. Okay, so
thank you for all your hard work, Amanda.
No, it's just we got to set it up different eventually. But right now, so what I'm doing is Spike is streaming on Discord, and then I'm grabbing. I put her stream as a pop-out window, and then I grab that as a capture. And if it's not the active window, sometimes it just is like, no, we're not loading that. I'm like, God damn it! So I have to minimize it. So I have to minimize, but I only have 3 monitors. I don't have 4.
No.
On one of my monitors, I monitor the chat because we don't have moderators yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't need them. It's just Bud's here. It's just 13 people.
All it takes is one spammer to take over your chat room.
Oh God, that's right.
This isn't about trolls.
Chip Warcraft Gold.
On my Twitch streams, every blue like I don't have a lot of people who watch me on Twitch, but every blue
me neither.
I'll just get my chat room will just get inundated with spam, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta stop what I'm doing and go kick them out.
Yeah, and without naming names, every once in a while I will drop in on a Lackadaisy stream, and those can have a lot of people in them, and when you get a whole lot of wheat, you're going to inevitably get a bunch of chaff too. Like people who have no fucking idea what Lackadaisy people who have no idea what Lackadaisy is, but just see big number and decide, okay, and it's just ooh,
that's actually
so
one of the
annoying.
reasons. So I'm not doing it this week because this week I got kind of weird, but I've been trying to stream more often, and I stream.
You're kind of weird every week.
Huh?
You're weird every week.
Yeah, well, they don't steal my teeth every week, Spike.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that already happened.
No, it's happening next week. This week they just chose which teeth they're gonna steal from me.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna get partial dentures measured for my mouth.
Oh, Amanda,
they're stealing my teeth, Spike. Why didn't you stop them?
I
Why
don't
didn't you stop them
know.
from stealing my teeth? You could have
Oh my
prevented this,
god.
I'm sure.
Oh god, I'm so sorry.
I like to characterize the dentist like not as someone who's doing a service. Like, yes, I have problem teeth. Yes, I'm agreeing to get them pulled. Like, no, they're just stealing my teeth.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
nothing I can do
sorry.
about this. Rip in
I'm
peace.
incredibly that I fucking loathe the dentist. And no offense to any
I
like
don't.
dentist or dentist adjacent people that might be watching, but I fucking loathe the dentist so much. I'm
I
like
don't mind the
actively scared.
dentist. The
And it's like
dentist.
I don't have any fillings or anything. I'm just scared.
I don't
I'm just
mind the dentist.
scared.
I'm more just disappointed at my teeth because it's like, oh
Oh,
man. Turns
yeah.
out when you're
You're
depressed
like,
for
oh,
5 years.
teeth. Why did you have to be garbage?
Well, it's
Yeah.
more why did I have to be garbage at my? It's more I'm disappointed in myself because like it turns
Mm-hmm.
out when you're really depressed for 5 years straight, you don't take care
Mm-hmm.
of yourself. And now I'm
Womp
paying
womp.
the consequences.
Yeah, the quinceañeras.
The
Gotcha.
quinceañeras. I'm paying them.
Well, get well soon. I hope it's not too terrible. I hope they give you all the good fucking drugs.
No, they don't do that when they extract.
What?
Yeah, they don't do that when they extract.
They better give you fucking something.
No, they just numb you.
Well, that's something.
You don't get the good drugs. They just numb you.
Okay.
You just numb
Yeah, I
you
went
and
in
yank.
for a cleaning.
Well,
And
actually, no, they don't always yank them. Sometimes they shatter them, then they yank them.
yeah. My husband, he's had two teeth, his wisdom teeth. He's had his wisdom teeth pulled, and that was a terrible experience because they did great.
That depends. Yeah, it sounds like his were really crooked. Because having your wisdom teeth pulled, like how much it hurts varies from person to person.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm still working on pouring my pages. I would have done Starry Night, but they're in the penciling phase, and that stage of penciling where you have to think really hard. I wouldn't be good for conversation. I basically turn into like a no speak me.
Yeah. And I am still working on the exact same fucking page I've been working on for weeks because I don't get any time to draw whatsoever unless it's for this stream.
I finished 3 pages since we last streamed.
Yes, well, I'm running a fucking company, Kel. Multiple fucking branches of a company. I'm running an animation studio and I'm overseeing a fucking print publisher. It's hard. I don't have time to do my
fight.
It's hard. It's hard.
I'm just saying
you're both
that my art dick is bigger than yours.
Absolutely, and that's fine because I have my business dick.
You're both pretty, and I love you very much, and I refuse to choose. Don't make me.
You can stay with Kel during summer vacation from school, and then I get you every other weekend. Okay.
Oh, I also I designed a new convention banner.
I did see that with the wolf and such. Yeah.
Her arms are not aligned.
Yeah.
Where's her shoulders? I'm hungry.
I like how the contrast between what we're drawing, where I'm just like drawing these fucking grumpy garbage dudes, and you're just like cute mouse girl with freckles.
She's a rat. She is a rat. Do not ever call her a mouse. Do not.
God, the offense.
She is a rat. No mice in this house. No mice in this house.
The absolute.
No mice in this house.
I'm
Never.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm tired of the anti-rat, pro-mouse propaganda. It will not be propagated in this home.
I'm so sorry.
No. My joke is that I hate mice. I don't hate mice. I'm just really tired of them being the cute, innocent animal. But rats are evil. And
No.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Trust me, I owned rats for ages. Rats are anything but evil to me. I love them very much. They're very cute. The reason I don't own them anymore, and I think that's something.
No gods or mice.
Yeah. The reason I don't own them anymore, and I think you could probably sympathize with this one, Amanda, is they just don't live long enough for me. And it's like kind of, if you're gonna like really buckle in to kind of be a rat person, like own rats, you're going to live a life of heartbreak. And that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, my current 3 are my last round.
I can't do it. Yeah.
I've been keeping rats for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I could keep doing it, but it's more of I'm trying to stop myself. I'm basically trying to future-proof my life a little because I do not know what the next few years are going to hold. I don't know if I'm going to get like crazy busy. I don't know. There's lots of stuff going on, and I just don't know. Like I'm going to try to start dating soon, and I don't like. There's lots of stuff going on, And I don't know what the future's going to hold. Um, and also, they still count as an exotic pet. They still get exotic pet prices for everything, no matter where I go. And
Even though they are super common, so it's silly.
Whereas having having a cat, like to get her emergency spayed, I was able to find like places that would do it as a discount.
Yeah.
I was able to find places that would vaccinate her at a discount because I was broke. Because cats and dogs are just common pets. There's lots of services and organizations set up to help you if, like, let's say you're broke and they get very sick.
Yeah,
if
there's a lot
I'm
of
broke
places.
and my rats get really sick, fuck you.
Yeah, there are a lot of places in Chicago and stuff. Like they'll do catch, neuter, release for community cats and feral cats too. Because there's a common thing. I'm not saying this goes for every single cat ever, but a common thing for cats is there's kind of a window after they're born for like how good are they going to be as both house cats and cats that like people. And again, I'm not saying every single cat. This is a fact, and it's immutable, and it applies to everyone. But if you don't get to kittens in that window, that several week window, they are significantly harder to kind of train to both like people and be happy as indoor cats. And a lot of services will just catch, neuter, and release them because like you can't put a collar on them and put them in your house and expect them to like you and expect them to like it because you missed that window.
And yet here I am.
Well, I don't think Ravi missed that window at all.
Well, it's also if you do miss that window, cats like that sometimes, Spike, they will like one person but fuck everybody else.
Ravioli
like because they'll that's why I said sometimes. Because it's like they recognize this is the person who has the food. And this is the person who gives me the good pets. Everyone else can go die.
That was a thing that I like kind of had to eventually figure out as a kid, because I think we all kind of grew up with the image of like the crazy cat lady who hauls the bag of Purina out to the back alley and feeds 20 cats.
I never grew up with that.
And it's like, haha, why does she do that? Why does she feed these homeless cats? Why doesn't she just get a cat and like take it home and have like a normal pet cat?
The crazy cat lady is the lady who has 20 cats in her house. That's the image I grew up with. Not the lady who's feeding strays, the lady who has like just a bazillion cats in her house and should maybe be on pet hoarders.
Yeah, but it's like I realized
also, my impression of crazy cat lady. Here's the thing. My impression of crazy cat lady was what everyone I knew called anyone who had more than 3 cats. It didn't even matter. If you were a woman and you had more than 3 cats, you were called a crazy cat lady.
And the reason those women do not like scoop up a cat and take it home is the cat would be really fucking angry about it. Those cats don't want to be owned.
The crazy ones don't care. They take them home anyway.
Yeah, the crazy people, the crazy ladies just those cats do not want to live there. But she's keeping them.
You ever see those episodes of Hoarders about pet hoarders?
Yeah, they make me so sad.
That's what I was just referencing. But
referencing that.
Yeah.
Amanda, your person who has more than 3 cats is the crazy cat lady thing makes me think of in the ancient days of the internet. Did anyone here watch An Engineer's Guide to Cats?
No.
Because he was basically, it was a very fun, goofy video. It's an engineer guy explaining his cat. And then he's like, now, for the question a lot of people are wondering about is how many cats is too many cats? And if you have 1 cat, then you are just a guy with a cat. If you have 2 cats, then, well, the cat needs a friend. So that's fine. And then he's like, but when you get to 3 cats, then you start to be that guy who has a lot of cats. And he's like, so the ideal number of cats in a household is however many people are in the household plus 1. He was like, you can't go over that. So,
yeah. This also makes me think, I'm sure you can still find it if you look. There's a Twitter thread where there's just a random ass dude living, his random ass life. and a cat somehow got in his house and gave birth under his bed. And he began updating a Twitter thread. It's like, there is a literal cat under my bed. It is not my cat. It is no one I know's cat. It has babies. There's a cat that has had babies under my bed. What is happening? And he would just upload like updates to the cat that had babies under his bed because, of course, you know, the first few posts to the Twitter thread were just him frantically looking for like cat food and like cat dishes and water and stuff. He's like, I have to take care of them. She had babies under my bed. I have to help her. And then as it went along, it just became like goofier, and he clearly got attached and became very, I'm a father, you know? And the last photo I ever saw was him sort of draped across his bed as if it were like a chaise lounge or a sedan chair or something. And he had in front of him, just loafed on the comforter of the bed, the mama cat and every single one of her kittens. He kept them all. It was very cute.
That mom picked a great mark.
Oh yeah.
What I think is funny is there was a video of a guy who he found a kitten by the side of the road that like I forget why he got out of his car, but then like a kitten like came out but a kitten like came out of the tall grass and started to like meow at him, and then he like petted it and like played with it for a little bit, and then a shit ton of other kittens came out. Yeah. And he's like, suddenly there's like 10 kittens, and he ended up putting them all in a box in the back of his truck and taking them home. Yeah. He named the first one Scout because he was like,
scouted, yeah. Yeah, and like, he was really, really country, right? He was like, "Oh shit, fire! I can't take all of you." And then he did, because people are suckers.
And then he did.
Humans are suckers.
Good job, Scout. You found the correct human.
Yeah, he understood the assignment.
Yes, good job, Scout.
Yeah. I'd like to apologize, by the way, for my slowness. Like I mentioned before.
Nobody cares about your slowness, Spike.
Oh, I care.
No, not in a bad way. No one care about you way. In a people are not bothered by your slowness. I don't think you, Spike. I don't think you understand that slowness as an artist is not uncommon.
It's terrible how slow I am, but to be fair, it's literally I have a job that like destroys my life.
Also, again, I'm fast in a lot of art stuff, mostly out of necessity, because remember, there was a time when I was running a webcomic, updating Slipshine monthly, and working mostly full-time in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So, like, it was draw fast or die.
Yeah.
So, like, drawing fast is not always, like, a sign of, like, oh, this person's a better artist. Sometimes it's oh, that person clearly went through some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes speed comes out of necessity rather than desire. I've
never found that balance that a lot of people seem to find where they figure out, okay, this is acceptable. This level of detail is acceptable to me. It's the minimum acceptable level of detail. Now to learn how to do this as quickly as possible.
Decide that?
Yeah. There are people who make sort of conscious decisions like, I need to be faster. So guess what? No one gets eyelashes. No one gets stray hairs.
Well,
no one gets
that varies
wrinkles.
Project to project for me. Like that's not this is my style. I draw the same way every time. It 100% will change.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who make those decisions because this project is not paying me enough to spend that long on this page.
Like
so
my Peggy and Polly comics. Those comics, I don't draw. I need to draw more. Eventually, I will. But the whole point of those is I can only each phase of the process can only take me 30 minutes. I can only spend 30 minutes on pencils, 30 minutes on inks. So those have a different level of detail than like this one right now.
Yeah, back when I was doing Templar, Arizona, I could pump out a page. I'd say like a completed, like from blank page to finished and uploaded on the internet. So complete cycle. I say like it would take me 36 hours. But those pages are fucking trash. So
Also for Purima, enjoy this bird person. This is the last fucking time I'm drawing a bird person.
Why? What's look?
I
What's
don't
wrong with
like
bird people?
bird people, and also plot reasons. This is the last bird you're probably gonna see ever.
Oh.
All
I
the
just had to
dinosaurs
make
became
Etnies
pets.
hand bigger because, as I have mentioned on previous podcasts, he's a freak. He doesn't know he's a freak. That's literally how limited his experience with other people is. He has no idea he has a syndrome. He's fucking in his early 20s, possibly mid 20s, and has no idea he's got a syndrome. But yeah, he has a mild form. He has a mild form of his particular genetic weirdness, and part of that is a sort of selective gigantism, and he is larger than everyone around him, and that includes his hand. So he has to
But
have.
yeah, as Kel was
Yeah.
alluding to, for plot reasons, basically, in where Porimali lives,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things that do not exist on Earth. Among them, like Earth is basically all like furries. It's all furries, but it's all mammals. There are no bird people, no reptile people, because all of the way the world is working, and it's for plot reasons, is that when all the humans got replaced by furry people, that left all those ecological niches open. So
Mm-hmm.
the timeline just said those are being filled by archosaurs.
I mean,
So
fair enough.
so all of the niches. So that's why they have dinosaurs as pets and livestock.
Mm.
But that also means there's no, like, there are also still chickens and things like that, but there are no bird people and there are no lizard people and such. But they do have pet ceratopsians.
I could go for a pet triceratops, like one the size of a German Shepherd. That sounds bomb
Well,
as
then you
hell.
probably want like a protoceratops or.
I would love a little triceratops
I
that was just
love a
like something
little.
that could wear a collar, and a little, like one of those vests that says nervous.
Yes, I drew that. I
Yeah,
drew.
you
I
did.
drew. Let me find it. I drew one of my characters. They have a pet Jujuvenator. Let me
Hmm.
find it. God, I gotta figure out which folder it's in. I have a character. I have 3 characters with pet dinosaurs, and one of them has a. There it is. There it
A
is.
vest that says nervous.
Tassel has a Apache.
Pachycephalosaurus?
Yeah, Pachycephalosaurus named Salt Lick. They don't like her. They don't. They aren't friends.
Oh.
That's that. Twill has a Protoceratops, I think. I don't remember. And then Spindle has a Jujuvenator named Beep, and they are basically an anxious perch dog. Yeah, so.
Y'all ever like draw a character and you really like them, but you regret ever adding them to whatever it is you're making because they are so they're like needlessly complex, so they take longer than everything else to do?
Yes, every character with tattoos.
Yeah, yeah, fucking yeah. Fucking yeah.
Connor's husband is supposed to be like when he was young, he was like punk activist type. So
Mm-hmm.
both
Here
of
it
his
is. Okay,
arms
I
have
found my.
sleeves.
There's the Jujuvenator in a Thunder Jacket. I knew I had it somewhere.
So yeah, so he has sleeves on both arms.
Mistake.
Um,
Mistake.
yeah, I was like, that's a mistake. Fortunately, he's their universe's equivalent to the governor, so he's frequently in a suit and has long sleeves, so I don't have to draw his tattoo sleeves. But yeah, whenever I draw him in casual wear or shirtless, he is like, that's a lot. Why did I do this to myself?
I've already decided. I have yet to have that problem in a comic, but I already know I'm just gonna make a custom brush.
Yeah, I'm already planning custom brushes because the page that comes after this is actually, you see people from their culture who they're rich basically, and they're going to be dressed really nice, and there's going to be a lot of braiding and brocade and garbage involved in that because that's how you demonstrate wealth. How complicated are your clothes to make? And yeah, that is something I do not fucking plan on drawing by hand. Fuck that shit. I'll just make a nice little stamp for the braiding and the brocade and stuff.
I do that in my
Recurrent.
pencils. I do that in my pencils, where I'll
Hmm.
use like a braid tool, but then I'll ink over it because sometimes those brushes are nice, but the level of complexity doesn't really scale.
Yeah, that's
So I'll
true.
use like a chain or a braid brush in my pencils, but I'll still ink over it because sometimes you don't have to ink all those details. Sometimes after you've thrown it down, you're like, oh yeah, I can skip some of these details. But
Oh
if
yeah,
you
for
had
sure.
used the brush straight, you would have been congested with detail in the
Mm.
inks.
And as everyone who has read Understanding Comics knows, and if you haven't read it, why
I haven't
not?
read it in like a million
Like
years.
one of the nicest things that you can steal from manga specifically is like, oh, here I am with my sword and I'm fucking fighting monsters with my sword. And when I'm fighting monsters with my sword, it can just be like the basic outline of a sword so we all understand what it is. But oh, what is this jewel in the hilt of the sword? And then you can have a nice splash page that you can just absolutely go buck wild on, like really, really, show out
Or
on. And
like an insert panel that shows the nice jewel if the jewel is important.
exactly, because you're focusing on it because it's important. And
Well,
you don't
again,
have to draw that jewel in the hilt and the gorgeous, detailing every
honestly,
time you
I
draw the
think what
sword.
would help a lot of comic artists is photography and learning about like videos and stuff and focal lengths and stuff. It's when things are in the background, they are less detailed. When things are like
Oh
not
yeah.
the focus of like when people are making movies. I've mentioned this before, but learning about like focal lengths on cameras was really eye-opening for like it's like people who make films will intentionally choose what's it called, f stops and t stops, which is like how much light gets let into the lens by the aperture,
Mhm.
and focal lengths to intentionally have the lens focus on an object and blur everything around it on purpose. Like that is a thing that happens in films, and it's like, oh, they do that with movies, which are basically like real things. You can do that with your drawings.
Yeah.
They use the
Yeah.
exact same shit where it's like, I don't, basically, it's the movie equivalent of, I don't want to draw a background.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really interesting. I love that shit. It's fun.
Yeah, I think that's a really common kind of beginner mistake. Like, I think when someone is kind of like new to making comics, they think, I need to do as much detail as possible because that's how I get it to look good, which is definitely not
I
true.
mean, it can. It varies artist to
It,
artist.
oh, for sure. But like, I
But
think it's
that's
a
a,
mistake that if you are drawing a character who lives in a brick house, every time you show the wall, you draw every brick in that wall. I think that's a huge mistake. I think that's a waste of time, and I don't think it actually makes the page look better.
yeah, it's going to vary artist to artist, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are some artists where like that's their style is they're putting every brick in the wall.
But you should never feel like you
As
have to. If you're
yeah.
doing that,
Yeah,
it's because
yeah.
you want to. You want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I should actually give him eyes, shouldn't I? Let's do that. So, how was everyone's Thanksgiving?
It was fine.
Good.
I mean, we talked during it,
Yeah.
We
didn't
did,
we?
didn't we?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
I was
Yeah.
just wondering if anyone actually had anything special go on.
I mean, I
No.
told you about it on the
We were
day of,
on Geek
Spike.
Show. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were on Geek
I
Show.
went to
That was
Yeah.
like a Friendsgiving, which was
Yeah.
interesting because it was with the friend's family. So it was like
Mm-hmm.
it was weird. Not gonna lie. I was nice. I would do it again, but it was weird doing family with a Thanksgiving with a family that's not yours, especially when
Mm-hmm.
your family isn't very nice to you.
Yeah.
It was very like, oh, is this? Oh, it was very weird to be like, oh, is this what a family acts like when they like each other? This is
Oh my
weird.
God, I've had that
This is
experience
fucking
so
weird.
hard. I've had that experience with my husband's family, which are very like they're like Hallmark commercial family is the best way to describe my husband's family. They're very kind of stereotypical in their wholesomeness. And
Are you calling
it's one
his
of those
family
things where
basic? Wow.
I didn't think people actually behaved like that.
I knew that. I know they do. It's just more of a experiencing it is different than just being aware that like, oh yeah, there's families who are just love each other.
Yeah, I never fucking thought that. I thought that was all, everything on TV is fake. Godzilla's fake. The Power Rangers are
I
fake.
just say
Families are fake.
I understand that there's a wealth of human experience out there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's gotta
yeah.
be. There just has to be, realistically.
I forget who said it, but some writer said all happy families are happy in the same way, and all dysfunctional families are unique in how they're dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Like my family, we are we get the family members I do have a relationship. It is maintained by distance.
Yep.
I love them dearly, and we are actually getting along amazingly since I moved away.
Hard distance is it could be
we can't
healing.
live near each other. It's just we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the family I don't talk to are bastards. The end. Goodbye.
Yeah, like I had an epiphany in my 20s, and it was just like, I'm just not going to be around people who make me fucking miserable. I'm just not going to do that. Like, life is too fucking short. Like, I'm not going to humor.
A privilege I didn't have to.
I'm not going to humor people who get off on making me sad because we have a DNA connection. Like, why?
Yeah. That was a realization I had, but a privilege I couldn't exert for years.
Yeah, and like the best way I can like sort of describe it is like, the thing about my parents is they really did not want me to marry who I married. And they spent the first several years waiting for it to fail. And when it didn't, they were like angry beyond words about it because they had been wrong. And it's one of those things like, yeah, I don't have to tolerate that. Like, Matt is going to be in my life pretty much no matter fucking what. And if you can't deal with that, I guess I can't deal with you. So,
the details
deuces.
of this room at all. It is like a room you are never going to see again. So I'll think about it later. I just know there is a...
I will admit that was possibly easier for me than it might be for other people. I'm not going to like sit here and universalize my experience because I do not come from a lovey-dovey close family. I do not come from a family that's kind of used to being nice to one another or expressing interest in one another. And I spent a great deal of my childhood alone in my room because my mother was not maternal. She wasn't like actually interested in children. I was an obligation.
See,
and so
that's how sometimes the families get you, is sometimes you get a family where they are lovey-dovey and it is strategically, it is, what is it like? It's like applied with precision.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom really likes little kids.
Yeah.
How are we defining little? Like toddler?
The younger, the better.
Okay.
Because it's easier to control and put your thoughts and feelings and project them onto the child.
Okay. Because they aren't their own person yet. So that's what she likes about them. They aren't their own person yet. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have their own opinions yet.
My stepmom, very pointedly, it was one of those things you realize as you get older, like, well, that seems like the whole fucking thing. She likes, when it comes to affection towards children, it became very obvious. She only liked boys when they were little. The moment they tiptoed towards puberty, her entire personality would flip, and they are basically garbage. And it was the weirdest thing. And it was something like, even as a preteen and teenager, you notice and go, that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, she would like it was, and my two brothers were kind of spaced a little apart, so it happened once, and then she was like, God, the amount of like affection just dumped on my brother, my youngest brother, when he was little and cute, and he had the curly hair, and then he tiptoed towards puberty, and she said, I don't like you anymore, and just got so fucking mean. It's like, God damn. God damn.
Yeah. I've seen that before. Yeah.
Also, she just sucked in general.
Yeah, I've seen that before too. And it's just like, it's one of those things where you kind of, when you get older and you experience more families, like again, my husband's family, you experience more families, which is a very sweet, cute family. And I'm not even saying they're like, pod people or clones. They're all very different people, but they're all really, they're just like a nice little family. And like Matt's sister and Matt's brother, they have their own families and they have kids now. and they are very different families. And one is sort of a very quiet kind of family, because we get on Zoom calls together, and one's a very quiet family. The kids in that family are very quiet, and then the other family is incredibly rambunctious, like adorably rambunctious kids, just really loud household.
Decide whether I want this person to have like weird little like feather hands or like talon hands. I haven't decided yet. Again, you will never see them again after this airs, so it's like I don't know.
Like the kid who we're on a Christmas call, and one of the kids goes upstairs and gets their Halloween costume and dresses up and starts just shaking their butt in the background and dancing, because they just are so desperate for attention. And the parents don't discourage it at all. That's like another kind of family that's in my in-law family, and it's just kind of that did not exist for me growing up. Like, that wasn't a thing I was familiar with. Like, I just had absolutely no experience like that. It was on TV, I guess, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's how TV families are, because TV is fake, and those families exist to advance a plot. They're not real. And then I was like, oh shit, people actually do this.
Anyway, can we change the topic?
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. How was your 2023, everyone? Because we're coming up on the end of it. It's almost over.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Really great, and also it had its ups and downs. Like, I'm happy to have been in Chicago for a year.
Yay!
That's been great.
Yay!
It's got its ups and downs, and altogether it comes out in the end and averages out to pretty okay.
Pretty okay, yeah.
Which is a huge improvement. Pretty okay is a vast improvement.
Definitely, yeah. You escaped Texas, and just in time, really. But well, Texas is getting significantly worse these days.
Yeah, but like not any, like, I get it is not like
they have always been getting worse, is I think Amanda's point.
Yeah.
Were you in Texas when the power grid failed?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that's not getting any better.
But I was also in a part of Texas. Again, Texas is an extremely big state.
Yes, it is.
I lived off the coast, very, very, very south. So like we were mildly affected.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know how many non-Americans are even in here looking at this, but
no.
It's kind of hard to Texas. All right, if America is the EU, Texas is Great Britain. Like, they'll talk about how much everyone sucks but them and threaten to leave all the time, but the minute they need help, they run crying to everyone else.
Well,
that's Texas.
No, they should run crying, but they don't.
When they began begging for COVID nurses, when they began begging for people to help them with the ice storms. The governor absolutely ran crying.
Here's the thing: yeah? The state doesn't do the asking; it's the residents of Texas doing the begging, and they are helpless because Texas sucks. Like, it's not the government doing the begging for the help; it is the residents doing the begging for the help, and they do need it because again, Texas sucks. Like a lot of like what happened with the freeze, it wasn't just because like, oh, Texas not used to cold. Oh, Texas
no, I didn't
not
think
prepared.
That was it either.
It was because our electric and heating, like our utilities, the whole grid, it's fucked. The grid itself is fucked. They literally, it's about making money. Like.
Yeah.
And
I should note that this is just Texas.
We trade energy. It's weird. Also, we refused. I say we like I still live there, but Texas refuses to be a part of like
the national
grid. Federally connected. So if we do need energy, we literally can't get it from another state because we're. Again, I keep saying we. It dies hard.
No, we get what you mean.
Yeah, like they refuse to be connected to other states' grids. But it's like, yeah, but then when you need energy, you can't just buy it. You can't just say, hey, neighbors, can we have a cup of heat?
Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's one of those things where a lot of people laugh at the UK for punching itself in the face with Brexit. And, the UK deserves it. That was really fucking stupid. That was like astonishingly idiotic. But there are a lot of states in the US that kind of do similar things, and there's no good reason to do it other than you're being like a 3-year-old going, you can't make me.
Well, there are reasons to do
And-
it, and it's not even them being obstinate. Like, it's not even a Texas pride, we want to be independent. It's literally just capitalism.
Oh yeah,
Because of
well,
the
I'm sure it was
system.
sold to the people as, Texas pride, but I'm not under the impression that's all it's about.
Yeah,
But,
it's this whole thing where basically our energy is like traded. It's basically we have an energy stock market. It's weird.
Yeah. And like in the US, for example, when Obamacare like came online, like the national health care, the change up, so people could actually buy health insurance on the market and people could no longer be rejected for pre-existing conditions. When all of that came online, there was also a Medicaid expansion to it. And all the Medicaid expansion is the federal government knocking on the state doors of states going, here's some more money for Medicaid. And there were states that just said no. And there is no rational reason to say no to that. It was exclusively irrational. It was not accepting help from the black man. It made me think of a political cartoon I saw that was criticizing racists that I saw framed in like my aunt's house once. That was a racist drowning, and a black person was holding out a life buoy to them, and the drowning racist was like, get that away from me. It's like, really? Okay, I mean, if that's how you want to go out.
I mean, accurate.
Yeah, extremely accurate. I didn't understand it at the time, but when that fucking Obamacare shit happened, I understood it for sure then.
Also,
Ren crying to Cancun.
I'm doing that Tezuka beak grind. That's how I'm drawing beaks. You cannot make me
Tezuka, the fakey beak.
You can't make me draw a real beak. I refuse. Come in
Yeah.
my house and make me.
Spike.
Cal.
Everyone was busy celebrating Henry Kissinger. That
Woo!
people
terrible human beings
missed
gone forever.
the beautiful summary of Elon Musk's interview about his Semitic tweets.
Yeah, he had to go on an apology tour, and then he fucked up the apology tour.
But did you see the summary about the apology interview he had?
What is the summary? Like, you say the summary. What's the summary?
It was just going around that I think it was CNN. It might have been no, it was like some news place reported on it. But it was basically like what started as an apology quickly devolved into talking about his sad childhood in Aliens, and half of the audience got up and left before he finished.
Excellent. Good. I love it. I love that the bloom is off the rose there. I truly do.
Some of the video a lot, long enough to see he had his everybody please clap moment. He didn't say that, but to the point where he initially says fuck the advertisers, and he looks at the audience and there's silence, and it's it's to the point where you don't realize there's an audience till the very, very end, when there's awkward, he repeats it and there's some awkward laughing. But up until that very point, I'm like, oh shit, there's an audience. There's been an audience this whole time.
We're not your ass-lick Twitter followers, Elon.
It's funny because
I
think he didn't realize that he's getting interviewed by was it the New York Times?
It was somebody. Yeah, it was something like that.
It was something like that. Times, his fuck the advertisers, your advertisers are in the audience, sir. That's
also
that's who you want.
Man who has been whose company has been bleeding money because of advertisers, and he apparently made all these changes to the company for advertising revenue and to get rid of bots.
No, that was the excuse.
I know that. I know that.
Yeah.
I found the exact summary. What began as an apology over anti-Semitic tweets turned into a meandering conversation about childhood trauma, aliens, cell phones in people's heads, and using X in the bathroom. A good portion of the room walked out before the discussion officially wrapped up.
I don't give a shit about your childhood trauma, Emerald Boy. What the fuck? Oh, was it hard? Was it very, very hard? Murdering all those black people for emeralds? Was it very hard? Was
I mean,
it
he
so
didn't personally
difficult?
do it, so it probably
His
made
dad
an
did
impression
that.
on him.
Well, no, I'm sure it didn't. Come to think of it, yeah. Yeah, that's not the part he
In the
should.
Behind the Bastards episode, on
Hey,
him,
that one's queued up. That one's queued up for me. So
Oh, yeah, no spoilers.
Okay.
Spoiler
do
free
not
account.
spoil
Spoiler
Elon
free.
Musk's life, please. I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking. Just don't spoil
it
jokes.
talks about the one good thing Elon Musk has done as a parent, aka the only good thing, is he has told all of the mother of his children that his children should never ever meet their grandfather. Because
well, yeah, because he's so much better.
I mean,
they talk about the shitty things his dad does, and I will give Elon Musk that he is better than his dad. He has not literally murdered anyone.
The world will not fucking enable people like Elon's dad to the degree they used to anymore. It would be difficult.
No, this is not about the world.
He would take the opportunity. He would absolutely take the opportunity.
This is not about the world. This is about his kids.
Yeah, I understand. But I'm saying Elon Musk, if the world enabled the kind of insane apartheid brutality for profit that it used to, and I'm saying there's still, elements of that around. I'm not saying it's gone.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's not as enabled. He would absolutely take advantage, 100%.
This is not about that either.
Okay, I'm just saying that.
This is, his dad is by all accounts a fundamentally worse person.
We're talking about this is like a personal relationships level of thing. This is a
like this isn't like harm on the world.
His stepdaughter, says Kristen.
Yeah.
Yes. His dad is basically Woody Allen, but with some genocide thrown in. So
I literally don't put that past him, though.
For example, like again, my dad, bastard man, hate him.
Mm-hmm.
I was never allowed to meet his dad because he was worse.
Mm.
And my dad knew it, so I was never allowed to meet him.
So this is like it's stuff like I read the Rolling Stone reporting on Kissinger dying, and it talked about the Oklahoma City bomber at the beginning. And we're like, at least this mass murderer did not kill as many people as Henry Kissinger.
Oh God, not at all.
So that's what I'm talking about with like Elon Musk, not as bad as his father. Like
still bad, but
no one is saying he is good. It is just saying he gently stepped over the extremely low bar of being better
set by his own dad. Yeah,
he's still a terrible father.
Oh, he's a terrible dad. He's a terrible person. He's a fucking man-child being enabled by bigots and lunatics. He has no friends that he doesn't pay for, and that's why he makes such terrible decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And it probably hasn't. It's been that way from his entire life. I am not saying that.
It's not just that he doesn't have fans. He doesn't. It's not just that the fans he pays for. It's also he has. I'm most certain he has friends he doesn't pay for, but they are friends who just view him as like a way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So in a roundabout way, he kind of pays them.
Yeah, there are people who's like, you saw this a lot with, here's the thing, like there are people I'm sure this goes for a lot of people. There are people I will never think of the same way post-Trump. And a lot of those people are rappers. And one of them is Kanye West.
Well, he's a special case. I'm going to be
I did know. Well, there were a lot of rappers who fucking sucked his dick. And I'm going to tell you why they did that. I'm going to tell you why they did that. It's because they worship power. And they don't... And when Kanye is interviewed in his little fucking MAGA hat, like the fucking idiot he is, people are like, so what's up with that? Like with the hat, like, he's like an insane bigot and he like absolutely hates black people. Like you're aware of that. Like he's on tape about how much he hates black people.
Kanye's a special case.
Let me just go on here. I'm trying to make a different point. And Kanye says, yes, I'm aware of that. This hat isn't as much about him as it is about what he proves. And what it proves to me is that anybody at all can be president, anybody at all can have access to that power. I find that inspirational. And a lot of people just, they don't fucking care who's attached to it. They just worship power. And that's why fucking 50 Cent and all those other, like Lil Wayne, those fucking dipsticks, like were all about Trump when he was in office, because they worship power and they knew he was easy to manipulate because he was desperate to be seen as cool.
Unrelated.
Mm-hmm.
My senator, Ron Wynden, is, he needs to give whoever his social media person is a raise.
Why?
Because right now he has proposed a bill to properly tax billionaires.
Nice.
And his Blue Sky account has posted that Mean Girls meme that is, get in losers, we're going shopping, but instead of going shopping is we're taxing billionaires.
Yeah.
And that is how his bill was announced on Blue Sky. And I was like, you need to give whatever assistant is running your social medias a raise, sir. Because that's an excellent way to announce.
They build it. Yeah. I just, like, I can't say it enough. I'm so sorry. I can't say it. Billionaires just should not exist. They should just straighten out.
They shouldn't.
If you have $1 billion sitting in an account somewhere, it should be taken from you. Period. It just should.
So just, kudos to their social media and PR person. Great job. Good job all around. Knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. It's the bottom of the barrel stream tonight on Geek Show. Da, da, da. Every Geek Show stream is bottom of the barrel stream.
Then but Spike, listen, Amanda's point that Kanye is a special case is because that man is clearly off his meds.
He is. He's extremely off his meds. No, and I'm not saying that as like some kind of insult. It's an observation.
No, there's definitely a problem with, again, a lot, not just rap, but like a lot of genres of music where it's like there is an image attached to it that kind of goes hand in hand with, capitalistic bullshit and the really, really scary kind that borderlines on mafia shit.
Yeah.
And that shit's viewed as cool.
Yeah.
So it's like Kanye has more going on than the worship of power. I do understand what you mean by there are
I just don't
rappers
think he's a good example because
because he is clearly
so much
unwell.
Other shit going on up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is an all-around scumbag. That didn't, like, the whole thing with Trump isn't what made me decide that. He's been a scumbag for a very long time.
Yeah.
But, and like, and I say this, by the way, before anyone brings it up, I realize
his ex ran a church.
I have thoughts about that. But before anyone brings it up, I do understand he is working through some shit in a very profound way. I'm not giving
him an out when I say that.
Because
no, I'm not giving him an out.
Let me just get this out here. I understand he is working through some shit in a very profound way because his mom, who was very much like in his corner to an insane degree when he was young and told everybody, my baby's a genius and my baby's going to do this. She was like his first fan, as a lot of performers, their parents are their first fans. And he made it big. And he did all the things that, the stereotypical kid done good does for his mom. Well, he moves her out to California. He introduces her to the beautiful people. He buys her a house. He buys her a car, all that, happy horse shit. And part of all that was that he got her plastic surgery. He got her like a facelift and liposuction combo surgery. And it killed her. Like it literally killed her. It's not ambiguous. It's not hyperbolic. She is dead because of the surgery that her son bought her as a present, as a, welcome to California present. So he is working through some shit on that level. And I genuinely feel bad for him. The guilt must be horrendous, but it is no excuse to be a bad person.
Again, I was about to say, like, he's not the only
Yeah.
A hip hop person working through some genuine shit.
Oh no.
Again, he is in a lot of ways an outlier who should, like, Spider's George should not be counted. Spider George is an outlier. Basically, with Kanye, we're dealing with Spider George situation.
Yeah. And I just, I get it. It's just, all that is one of those things where it's like, people inevitably bring shit like that up. I'm like, I get it. Yeah, we all have pain, dude. You know, it's, you being in pain is not an excuse for embracing fascism.
No, when I say he is off his meds, I mean there is some delusional stuff going on. Not just guilt and pain. Like, there is, like, if he was not wealthy, he would be, like,
walking down the street
with a tinfoil hat. Like, that level
for sure. And he's indulged because he is a source of income to too many people.
Yes. So that's more what I mean by he is off his meds. It is there's some lunatic stuff going on there.
I have actually watched those speeches he gives to these rooms full of, like, stunned people wearing a bulletproof vest. I have seen them. There's something organically wrong with him, and nobody kind of feels interested in fixing it, because what if that stops the gravy train?
Yeah. And in fact, like, more people are getting on the, like, let's exploit this gravy train. Like, I forget if I talked to you about this, Spike, but someone analyzed, like, an interview he gave like a year ago with a bunch of alt-right shitheads.
I'm gonna warn y'all right now. I have a talking about Kanye threshold. Just letting y'all know.
Well, okay. I'll make my point then. I'll make my point then, and then
I like that we can go on about Elon Musk for half an hour.
Because okay. No, because I was a big fan for years, so I have personal fifis. That's all, Spike. I was a huge fan for years. Well, I got personal fifis. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. I get it.
This is less about Kanye and more about.
I was trying not to go into detail, Spike.
No, okay.
So, like, one of the guys that was, like, propping him up on his most recent round of interviews was a flat out Nazi.
Of course.
Nick Fuentes, I think his name is. Yeah. Yep. And the thing is that Nick and some other flat out Nazis, what they want to do with Kanye is use him to push out conservative Jewish people like Ben Shapiro. So there's more room for them. Yeah. Because, like, when 9/11 happened, like, conservative Jewish people used the Judeo-Christian quote-unquote values line as a way to get themselves in and, like, up their celebrity. And obviously you can't support a flat-out neo-Nazi if you're also going to be on the same side as folks like Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, Ben Shapiro won't sit down at a table with Nick Fuentes. Yeah.
Yes. So Nick Fuentes is trying to use Kanye to get the Ben Shapiros of the alt-right out. Yeah. So there's room for him.
Because the grift must go on.
But also, like, he hasn't been able to fully get the grift going the way Ben Shapiro and some other
he's been kind of
more coded anti-Semitic. Like, he's mad that his blatant anti-Semitism isn't as profitable as the coded anti-Semitism. So he wants to basically be able to be as good a grifter as the coded anti-Semites.
Yeah. Yeah, they want to also, there's a desire to shift the Overton window and, make talking about certain things more acceptable. And if you have somebody who is supposedly, air quotes, on your side, who is all like, what the fuck? No, you're hating the wrong people. Hate them, not me. That's a loss of focus. So.
Yeah. So
I'm hungry.
Eat food.
I'm doing stream.
Stream while eating.
You have to cook food to eat food.
Not necessarily.
I
Do you
have to
have
cook
baby
food.
carrots?
No. Ew.
What?
I don't
What is
eat
ew?
I don't eat uncooked vegetables.
Baby carrots are good.
I don't eat uncooked vegetables.
Baby carrots are good.
You can keep saying it, but I don't eat uncooked vegetables, and it's a moot point. I don't have any.
Yeah. Yeah. And this comes back around to a thing you were talking about before, Amanda. Like, there are people in the world who have money and they have power and they have a platform, but you can tell they don't have anyone in their life who genuinely likes them in like
Not
a way
likes
that
them, loves them. There's a
loves
difference
them.
between liking someone and loving someone. I have friends I like. I have friends I love. I have friends who like me. I have friends that love me. And that comes with a different, like, experience. And the friends who love you are sometimes going to be harsher than the friends that just like you. The friends that love you are going to go, hey, I've noticed a pattern of behavior that is not helping you.
Yeah.
Like, I had a friend recently have a kind of a conversation that made me, like, cry a little, but I'm like, you're right. I do keep doing that thing. That's the difference. And
Kel recently yelled at me and talked to me and bullied me out of a crowdfund, and y'all will see which one it was, because Kel cares about Iron Circus.
It was two crowdfunds. Yeah, it was two crowdfunds back to back, because there was, when you suggested one crowdfund during our Friday meetings, I was like, no. Like,
it was a very firm no.
Yeah, that was,
it was the type of no.
Shit.
Yeah, it was a type of no that, like, the dog is on the couch and is not supposed to be on the couch. No.
Yeah, and I know you do that because you care. It's not for any. It's not for any other reason. And upon
because I don't want to die.
Yeah. Also, you don't want to die. Fair enough. Like,
I don't want to die of crunch.
Yeah. And people, like, it's a thing that I really absorbed back when I was, like, a lot more active as an artist, was people who post about your work and say stuff like, oh, well, the left arm it's kind of slightly longer than the right arm, and the fingers, they don't look proportional to the arm. So when you're drawing fingers and hands, what you do is
rolled up newspaper. Yes.
Yeah, and the palm is, like, should be the equal length as the longest finger. This is how you do that. That's a lot easier than saying, "Oh, nice." Like, they're putting effort into it. They don't have to do that.
Was very funny is recently, I was in a Discord and I asked for some critique. And there's two types of that. Like, there's obviously people who are trying to give that type of critique that you mentioned, Spike, with the like, this is how you draw the hand, blah 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 blah. But they don't know you that well. One of the funniest critiques I got recently is on a Discord. I posted a page, was asking, like, how can I up my artwork game, blah blah blah, and someone gave a really long criticism about the way I draw heads, and like, explained a thing that I draw quote unquote wrong about heads. And then 15 minutes later came back and was like, I just realized who you are, and you've been drawing for 15 years. So clearly your heads look like that intentionally. Disregard what I just said.
Yeah, that's an actual real thing. Like, one of the things that I talk about is, when I draw my characters, I like them about 6.5 heads tall. I just like how they look. I like them with no fingernails. I don't draw fingernails on my characters. I put a lot of effort into the hands
as well.
Yeah, like look at these hands. Like, these are hands. They look like hands. You know what they are. They don't have fingernails. I know they don't have fingernails. They don't have fingernails because I don't want them to have fingernails. So there are stylistic, and that could be kind of tough when you're getting, like, critiques, because you don't want to be seen as that, like, fucking prima donna,
Well, here's the thing. I've said this before about the comments and critiques. Critiques are only helpful when you are open and receptive to them, and you're not always there.
Yeah.
Like, when I put, like, sometimes, like, for example, if I post a comic page to Twitter or wherever, and I post it and then I walk away from it, one, it could be people. If someone posted critiques, it could be literally I'm just literally not there to read it. I'm gone all day, and by the time I get to look at my notifications, you've been buried. But there's also the fact. So since I wasn't open to critique for that, I didn't invite them. I didn't come back to look for it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like I was like if I had said, "Oh, hey, I want critiques on this," I would know. Okay, I need to go back and look for them. Two, on that same note, some things are like, this is at a phase of development where all the critique in the world will not help me because I'm not going to fix anything you find. Maybe I'll apply that to a future page. This page is done because I am going to die someday. It has to be done.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes I don't want critique unless it is from someone, and I hate, like, who has not credentials, but who is someone who I want critique from. Like, there are certain artists I don't want critique from, not because they're bad artists, but because they make very different art from me, and they're gonna. And I've learned this through trial and error. They are going to suggest things that I'm gonna go, no, I intentionally don't do that. I do that on. I don't do that on purpose. But because we're fundamentally different artists, they think it's necessary. Where it's like, no, we're different, and we have different goals with our art too.
Yeah. These guys look the way they do because I want them to look this way. They don't look like people because they're not people, and I don't want them to look like people. And like, you can't roll up and be all like, make them look like people.
Something I get recommended a lot on YouTube is I'll get a lot of YouTube videos recommended to me that's like, don't do this in art, or how to make good art, or the mistakes you're making in art. And almost every single time I'm like, these are opinions. These are opinions. And opinions can be valuable. Opinions can be very valuable. But like, I'm like, these are all opinions.
I think people get the best critiques for their work when they are very specific about what they want to improve. If you just throw something out there and you're all like, critiques welcome, I think that's random, the quality you're going to get and the applicability of what you're going to get, fully random. But if you're all like, hey, everybody, here's my latest comics page. I think personally, I struggle with making my poses feel energized and dynamic. If anybody has any advice about that, I would accept, suggestions and red lines. They would be very appreciated. Thanks. Like, to be fair, you need to be more than a beginner to be at that level of specificity, but still. In my opinion.
Alan Lord, it was specifically because it was in a big cartoonist group where we're all professionals. And also, it is to their benefit to behave well. They lose access to certain things if they get kicked out. So I've been occasionally stumbled on some critiques where like my frustration is not the critique itself, but more like they're giving me 101 advice that is not helpful. I asked for some critique on that con banner I just showed you and Spike and Amanda. It was and one person was like, well, you got to think about how it looks with the rest of your table layout. And I was like, I'm replacing a banner that I'm replacing a banner that I've had for 10 years.
Yeah.
I know which part of the banner is going to be covered by the table.
Yeah, some people are very eager to help, but their help is not necessarily great.
Yeah.
Some 101 shit.
Sometimes with the critique you want is not from another artist. Sometimes the critique. No, artists sit down. I'm not asking you. I'm asking readers for their critiques because sometimes artists get lost in the weeds when they're critiquing something. Like, no. I'm not asking, is this drawn well? I'm asking, how does it make you feel? Yeah. And sometimes, not always, artists are usually good at that, but sometimes you get artists who can't do that. They can only like look at the guts, and you're like, never mind. I need to take this to like a reader and be like, how does this make you feel? Oh, that's not the intended reaction. Thank you. I will now go fix it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
If anyone's curious, the critique I got about heads is that the eyes are too high on several characters' heads. And it means that there's like the nose part of the character takes up most of the face. Um, and I explained to them like I'm aware that I'm doing that because I
Like it?
well, I'm doing specifically this, which um helps me have more facial variety. Basically, what I do is I draw
Yeah.
a circle, and the middle of the circle is where the character's eyebrows go. And then I put the jawline after I determine like where the eyebrows will go. And so that helps me have more wider variety of jawline. But sometimes it results in someone with a longer, narrower face, like Connor, having his eyes be much higher on his head than usual.
Yeah.
And but it can also result in someone having a really squat face.
Mhm.
I used to give advice that I don't give anymore. I used to be a big stickler for anatomy, and like that died. That died in me, and it's like a no, no, no. I now operate on 3D modeler and video game rigging logic. Sometimes you break the bones cuz it makes it better.
Yeah,
Sometimes
for
you just
sure.
break the bones because it makes it better. Perfect anatomy, not important. As long as you can make the illusion work,
Yeah, for
like
sure.
as long as you can break the body but it doesn't look broken to the reader,
Yeah.
you're good, you're golden. Now you mess
I
up if you break it and the person reading goes, oh, their arm
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Even the photorealistic, what we would call photorealistic stuff that are painted portraits, the head of the person is on average between 2 and 7% bigger than it should be. And that's because
um
that's where all of our focus is. So it's given more real estate than it really deserves.
Oh, you talking about realistic artwork
Mm.
made me think of, did you see that guy who paints people on Instagram got a
Uh-oh.
critique from a professional like art critic that wasn't even that mean, and like he flipped the fuck out.
Is this the guy who
Um
paints people like on subways and it feels super
yes.
fake? Yeah,
Oh, I
okay.
Yes.
watched a video about that, yeah.
Yes.
I heard about it. I didn't hear details though, so feel free.
So basically the review is like the critic basically, when going in and reviewing, talked about how this guy's painting isn't actually all that interesting on its
Mhm.
own. And he goes, but him doing it on TikTok makes it a performance piece. And
Yeah,
how like,
it was
so the
D'Angelo Wallace did
critique,
a video.
yeah.
Okay.
And so the critic wasn't even like trashing the guy's art. He was just saying like performance is a key part of this man's art.
Oh,
And
for sure.
so it is interesting how the painting and the performance part of the art interact with each other, and how that caters back into social media. So it's actually like
He was
wasn't
thinking
even
out
mean at,
loud. Yeah.
yeah, he was doing what a critic should do, to be like, we're taking the whole part of the art, because it's like
Context matters.
how,
Yeah.
yeah, it's, I forget the name of the guy who did the toilet seat like art thing.
Or the arm mut
Um
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, so it's he's doing what art critics do, where he's talking about like, okay, the urinal, why is it now art that it's in an art museum? He's like doing that type of art critique, like
Yes.
talking about the process and the wider context of the art industry. And the dude like flipped out and like took it as like an insult when again, it wasn't. He was just acknowledging that performance is part of the art piece.
Yeah, for sure.
Um
Absolutely. Kind of indisputable even.
Yeah, and so the fact that he like flipped out, like the art critic did like a follow-up that was like, this guy's brand was all about like being friendly and nice, and
The culture of kindness, yeah.
yeah, and so he really fucked up. He was yeah, it was like, yeah, performance is part of your artwork, bro, and you broke it. Like you fucked it up by being this, taking this criticism so poorly, and like,
But yeah, I mean, I personally never watched that dude. I know exactly who you're talking about. I personally never watched that dude because it felt very fakey. It felt little like my suspension of disbelief could not be sufficiently suspended for him. So, but I do know who you're talking about because he gets shoved in my recommendeds a lot.
Yeah, so like I just like, I guess he was mad because like the art critic pointed out that like, you know, people in the art world maybe don't know his name, but they know him as like the guy who paints people on TikTok, on the subway on TikTok, and it's like, yeah, because that's true, dude. I also didn't.
That's not a bad thing. That's just your thing.
Notability is notability. Like, take it however you can get it.
Like
that would be like me getting mad, like, oh, fine art people don't know me. If they know me, it's like she's a comic artist. It's like, oh no, yes, that's what I am. You are social media artist guy. That's not bad. It's just what you are.
It is a new kind of performance art, and it clearly has been treating you very well. What is there to be mad about?
Yeah. So it's like, that was the wild part, that like, he's like, do you not know that like,
oh my god, he didn't know.
Yeah, like
oh, he didn't know, everybody. Oh, he didn't.
Like, he was calling the art critic like a gatekeeper. Like,
what?
It's like, he wasn't. He was talking about how performance is part of your art, and it very clearly is. Like,
is this for me? Oh my god, it looks just like me. Yeah.
On the topic of like like art advice and stuff, it's like I said it before in previous shows, but I'll say it again. Like, even when like you do get those hyper realistic art, again, even that, that's still faking shit, because again, we are not flat, we are not on paper. You have to, like, again, we are not made of graphite. So like, you're gonna have to fake some shit, and you will always notice the people in those portraits, their eyes are always a little bit brighter than they would be in real life. They always have very clear eye shines. Like, they even with the hyper realistic stuff, it's like, no, I don't, like, that person was not as clear as that to you. Your vision is not that
good. Thing about art is it's not necessarily I think it's incredibly wrong-headed. And this is something I could go into about how, like, when it comes to video games, I think it's really indicative how the executive has taken over from the creative in video games, because of the emphasis on, you can see every pore, that's how you know it's good. But like, realism isn't the end game of art. It's not the declaration of the greatest level of ability. It's not the final goal. Something that is not realistic is not failing as art, you know. And I think it's really simple-minded to be all like, oh wow, look, you can see every pore, that's how you know it's real.
I think because partly because of how well Breath of the Wild did, we are seeing more of the big studios be like, oh, we should just make it look pretty.
Yeah, for sure. And also Enter the Spider-Verse and the Spider-Verse, because that is highly stylized and highly like, for fuck's sake, Enter the Spider-Verse especially, where they have a character who is literally inspired by like flyers for punk shows walking around.
That's Across the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is the first one.
Okay, Across the Spider-Verse. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. But you know who I'm talking about.
I watched a really cool, now I'm like Googling to figure out what it was called. But I watched a really cool YouTube video about this 3D modeling and rendering technique to to do video game hair and fur, and how to do that in a way that doesn't like have you render every single hair and fur. And it was really good. It was by Ace Rolla. It was called How Are Games Rendering Fur. I recommend it. It's super. In fact, you know, I realize I have the power to drop links. So if you've never seen it, I recommend it. It was a really good watch for me personally.
But yeah,
don't play it. Don't play it. I'll kill you.
I'm just so I'm grossed out by this sort of we have to make it as realistic as possible approach.
Yeah, no, like again, I would recommend it. One, it leans into the yeah, it doesn't need to be realistic. It just needs to look good. And two, this also leans into the art is an illusion thing, because the way this technique works, it is literally an optical illusion that's making you see hair and fur. Like without having to render every single
hair.
Because
really like the computer would explode.
And what is it called? It's called oh, there's a name.
Introducing.
Oh, shut up, YouTube. What is the name of the technique?
So mean.
Shell texturing? I don't know. Anyway, it's really cool. Look, it's so cool. I think it's called shell texturing, but it's really cool. Basically, no, I'm not gonna say shit. Watch the video; it's good.
Yes, I will.
I'm tired of giving summaries of videos when people can go watch them. Yeah. Go watch video.
And also, I have to say, I have been fascinated by the applications of AI art and how, and I can't help but notice this, how like conservative pundit types have glommed onto it so hard, because I'm just like, yeah, you fucking would. And all they use it for is the most air quotes realistic art they can render of their shitty, awful ideas. It's just so
these are the least likely people to find an artist and pay them.
They are the least likely people to find artists and pay them. But I should note, for all we see of hyper-realism spat out or shat out by AI, that's not all AI can do. They are actively choosing that. And it's very par for the fucking course for people like that.
Also, it's also like, I've seen it too. It's also like, that's not realism. That's like the ones that really fool you are the ones that look like shitty photos. Those are the ones that fool you. The ones that are like look like beautiful, smooth, airbrushed glamour shots, like those are not fooling me. The ones that have actually got my goat and made me go, oh shit, that was AI, are ones that like include some of the weirdness that happens in candid photos. Those are the ones that made me go, oh shit, that was AI. They're grainy. The lighting's weird. People aren't making the best expressions sometimes.
Yeah, there was a thing that was going on recently. There's a channel, I forget what I think they're called something like Corridor.
I know who. Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck these idiots. I mean, it's like they must decide that it's cool to be hated because clicks are clicks. Like that can be the only explanation for their behavior.
No, I disagree, and I will.
Really?
But I will let you talk first.
Okay. So for folks who don't know, the Corridor are like CGI guys. They make CGI things for YouTube. And they have really, really glommed onto AI art.
It's more that they you know what? I'll let you talk because this ties into what I was going to say. Never mind.
Okay. And one of the things they did recently where I'm all like, you know what? I'm just going to ask YouTube to stop recommending your fucking channel ever again. And like, I actively went and did that. They did this thing that is so fucking like
this might be the thing that went viral,
idiot
too.
Garbage. It's like, and apologies, that's an insult to people with micro penises, but they do the thing where it's like, we're going to take these video game characters and make them better with AI. And no prizes.
More realistic.
No prizes for how they air quote improved characters. It was just so insulting and stupid and painful. And I was just like, yeah, you're done. You're done. You figure yourself out. I'll check back in 4 or 5 years and see if you pulled your heads out of your asses. Because their answer to let's improve these CGI characters is nobody has freckles, nobody has rosacea, nobody has blemishes, nobody has pores. Everyone has perfect subtle makeup on, perfect subtle nude lip liner and shit. Everyone has big, bright, unnaturally, clean and clear eye colors, and everybody has just plasticky, smooth skin. When I used to play The Sims 3 a lot, there was a term that the community used to describe the bland, generic faces that you would get if you asked the game to just give you a random face, like the character-free, personality-free, perfect mannequin face. Right? From what I saw, they called them pudding face or pudding head.
Pudding face. That's right. It was pudding face.
Yeah, and it was just
some
like
places said dough.
yeah, it was derogatory. Like these fucking pudding face characters who had no blemishes, no exaggerations. Their nose was never too big. Their eyes were never too small. Their nostrils were never too flared. They were these generic mannequin people. And they turned all these characters, like Aloy and the characters in The Last of Us and so forth, into these pudding faces. And they were fucking rizzing the shit out of themselves, like, oh, that's amazing. It's like, you guys are not artists.
Spike.
Kel.
Vanilla Expanded is about to drop a new mod.
So.
Oh wait, let Amanda had something that she was going to say, I think.
Yeah. So here's my thing with the corridor people. One, they are, at the end of the day, they are more tech than they are art. That's how it's always been.
Yeah.
Even in their earliest stuff, it was how to use. So how they got their start was basically, and this is how I found them, because when I was learning like videography and shit, they're basically more like, hey, you can make movies on a budget. You can film on a budget. You can do CGI and stuff on a like they were more tech side. It was more, how do you marry tech with art so you can make art cheaper and better, but you're still making good art. I think what happened is because of that, they are less in tune with art than they are with tech. They kind of take the art side for granted, and they do the fucking Silicon Valley bullshit where they see tech and they get a little too fucking excited.
Yeah, I can see that.
And they think, this is the new thing. This is the new hotness. One, because again, they are not in tune with art as much as they are tech. But two, they're also not really, they don't have their finger on the pulse. They've never had their finger on the pulse. That wasn't their appeal. It was more like, we have enough technology that we can share with you to help you. That was their appeal. And I think this is maybe the first time they felt they were on like the cutting edge of something. And I think it just went to their fucking heads, and they're just lost in the sauce, and they are not thinking straight.
Amanda, my canvas disappeared.
Oh, sorry. It's because I tapped something. Give me a second.
Okay.
Again, like this whole setup is precarious and silly.
Yeah, we should do something better.
Yeah, I just haven't had time to think.
Yeah, that's on me too.
I've been applying to jobs. I've got a job interview tomorrow.
Okay. Good luck.
You think I need luck?
We all need luck.
Oh, I'm in that phase where you're trying not to let rejections go to your head. Like, oh, what? I'm not even good enough for a grocery store job? But it's like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works, Amanda.
There are plenty of grocery store jobs. The thing that I think a lot of artists forget when they're applying for day jobs is there are day jobs that can smell the artist on you. And they know that if shit starts working out, you will quit. You will not even provide a 2-week notice. You will
Spike,
be out.
That's not even just an artist thing.
No,
that is literally, if you apply to work at a grocery store, if you have basically any job experience that is not retail, they will be like, oh, you're going to quit as soon as you get a better job.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why on Kel's advice, I have 2 resumes. I have my regular resume, which is look at all my experience. And then I have my other resume that's like dumbed down and is like, I was a waitress. I was a waitress. I got great customer service. And I basically, even the art jobs that I've done, I dumbed down to being like, this was also customer service.
Yeah.
Social media job, customer service.
Yeah, for sure.
Selling at convention, like being the convention rep for Iron Circus, that's customer service, baby.
Retail sales, customer service.
Retail sales, baby.
Yeah. And I think that's something when people say, "Oh, they didn't hire me because I'm what is it they say? I'm overqualified." Overqualified is a way of saying, "Don't fuck with me. You're ditching us the minute your ship comes in."
Yeah.
And speaking as a person who does hiring, it is arduous and time consuming, and it feels inherently just like, I need to be doing other things, but I have to do this. And I would like to do that as little as possible. So I don't want to hire someone who, like, it's clear they're an actor or something, and they live in LA again. I'm like, oh my God. So I get it. I absolutely get it.
Um,
And then you have me who's being replaced because I'm broken.
Stop it, Amanda. You literally bowed out of your own accord.
I know, but it's funnier to be like, I had to leave because I'm broken. Goodbye. Yeah, I'm passing on some Iron Circus duties that are not mine anymore.
Yes, like social media stuff.
Spike.
Cal.
Vanilla Expanded is going to drop a new mod. Vanilla Expanded is going to drop a new mod.
About?
Werewolves.
Oh, of course. That's why you're so eager to talk about it.
My time has come.
Finally, it's Kel's time to fucking shine.
Finally, the werewolves are here.
Yeah.
All wolves all the time.
Good. I'm so glad.
But what's fun is because they're using the biotech
The gene
DLC
stuff.
like expansion pack to add the werewolves in, and so they have multiple types of transformation genes which will have different triggers. So the way it's going to work in like the werewolves is like, okay, when this trigger happens, they will turn from this species into another species that is more wolf-like. But because they have programmed the transformation gene to work that way, you can actually have one of the dryads from their DLC, one of their other mods, at night transform into a vampire. And when it's morning again, turn back into a dryad. So both of them are in the time of day that they most are benefited by. One of the other triggers for transformation can be seasonal. So you can have one of the dinosaur people that do really well in hot climates turn into one of the Wookiees that do really well in cold climates when it becomes the winter. And so on and so forth. And I'm very.
You're talking about RimWorld for the sake of the audience.
Yes, we're talking about RimWorld. Okay. I'm very excited to play with these new horrific genetics.
I'm glad for you. I have been mostly playing Sailwind these days because I need a game where I can just fucking like stare blankly at the screen and not worry about people getting attacked by rabid monkeys, which is a RimWorld thing.
I have been playing Skyrim. I posted this on Blue Sky. I found out that in Skyrim, if you do not do the first part of the first quest, the dragons cannot spawn.
Yep.
And I would like to see how far I get in Skyrim until I have to do that quest or the game breaks.
Well, it's a Bethesda game, so it basically spawns broken.
It might break on its own, but I want the dragons not being there to be the specific reason why it breaks, if it's going to break.
This is just a dragonless timeline. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's fun.
I should probably work in the word balloons before I go much farther.
Oh, you always got to put those word balloons on.
Yeah, so it's
that is the number one thing I give to feedback to people in our anthologies is like, you got to leave more room for your word balloons. You got to move your word balloons around. And it's important.
Doesn't Eki has a little foul mouth? Look at him go. And for folks who weren't here last time I drew this, the text here is based on. So Eki is considered the smart one. When he doesn't know the answer to something, he will just make it up. And he does kind of know what's in the newspaper. He understands these are the houses for people who do not live nomadic lives. They are commonly referred to as grass eaters by these people because, it's like they plant grain and they turn the grain into bread and they eat that. And to people who like fucking drink nothing but fermented milk and eat nothing but meat and blood and shit, those are grass eaters.
Why are you calling me out like this?
And so it's not derogatory. It's just that's what you do. You're a grass eater. And Bettany brought home a newspaper, and it shows a grass heater tent, which is because they don't have a word that's for a house that doesn't mean tent. So he just calls a big wooden house that's on fire a grass heater tent. And he says that they carve their tents out of wood and plant them in the dirt like their food, which is not incorrect. But it's like a weird way to describe it. And Bettany's like, okay, great, but like, why is it on fire? And Eki goes, how should I know it's full of gods or shit? And that's kind of a thing that. What are you desperate to say, Kel?
Oh, I you finish your thought.
Okay, but they part of the reason. Well, this isn't part of the reason they're nomadic, but it's retconned. Part of the reason that they don't kind of live in one space too long is two things accumulate if you live in one space too long: gods and shit. And the way they see things, gods aren't necessarily a thing you want around you, paying attention to you. They kind of have a ancient Greece, ancient Rome kind of idea of gods. Like if Zeus started paying attention to you, you're going to have a bad time. And they kind of feel the same way. Like they also have beliefs that kind of go hand in hand with that, where part of the reason Eki, Bettany, and Ta have these kind of miserable lives is other people are under the impression of two things. Number one, that like luck is an inheritable trait, just like skin color. So they have that kind of thing going on. Like everyone just kind of thinks they are genetically bad luck. And also they think gods bother them too much. So they think gods are following these guys around and making their lives miserable. And so that's why everyone kind of stays away from them like pariahs. And they don't believe that, they don't think gods are following them, but what they believe doesn't matter. And it's what society believes. And part of the reason that they move around a lot, they don't want gods or shit to accumulate in the same place. Like the thing that is the most disgusting to these guys, which is a thing that I have taken after watching a bunch of documentaries on Irish travelers, they think the idea of using the toilet in your house is fucking disgusting. Like they have no idea why you do that. So they have this impression of people who are agrarian or urban or even, ex-urban or rural in general, just non-nomadic people just living in their own shit, because that's how they see things. And now I'm done.
All right. Next week, Spike.
Yes.
I'm going to show Amanda and some other people. I posted in the chat.
You posted in the chat. I'm going to go and see. Hold on. What am I looking at here?
For those of you who don't know, I shared with Spike a cartoon version of Louis from Beastars going, he hasn't seen Rent. That
was that comic you were showing us before, where it had all the Beastars kids, but they were like stereotypical.
So someone was like, they're theater kids, but they don't act like theater kids. I have made a comic where they act like theater kids. There's another one that's Louis going, he hasn't seen Hamilton. And then another one that is they go see men, like their version of Cats. And the whole time Louis is just saying trivia about different performances of the musical.
Because he's acting like an authentic theater kid.
I used to think that Louis doesn't act like a theater kid, but then I got to the part where I got to the part where Louis dramatically quits high school and is like, "You can live in the light. I belong to the dark." And I'm like, okay, yes, he is a theater kid. Yeah. Never mind. I take back my criticism.
Yeah, except that makes me think more of like the kind of theater kid that Louis would be, which is like, I can't do this anymore. Like I have one life to lead, and it's my ember is slowly dying. I must strike while the fire burns in my chest. I'm moving to New York and auditioning for off-Broadway. I'm going to be a waiter while I audition for plays on Broadway because I'm still young enough to think that's romantic and something that won't make me miserable the entire time I do it.
I mean, let's be real.
Mhm.
Louis' dad is very rich, so he doesn't have to be a waiter while he auditions for
Oh no, he
Off-Broadway
would. He would
plays.
be though. He would be.
He would be a
Okay.
waiter for like a week, and then he would quit and just mooch off his dad while he auditioned for Off-Broadway plays.
Yeah, like there is a whole fucking like class of rich kid who thinks of like real work as like this cute novelty. So they would
Mhm.
absolutely, and frankly, I think they're best observed like Hollywood kids. There's this like Hollywood kid. Hi, Matt. Brought home this one. Stop it. There is this Hollywood kid type who like clearly wants to be an actor, right? And they'll
Mhm.
be in like 2 movies, and then they'll be like, "Oh shit, this is work," and then they're just never in a movie again.
My cousin went to Harvard and told me about how they had a part-time job because obviously they are not a rich kid,
Yeah.
and one of their classmates being like, "Oh, you have a job? Do you like it? Is it fun?"
Oh my god, that's adorable.
Um,
Yeah.
my cousin did not think so at the time.
No, I'll bet not. I'll
Yeah.
bet not. I'll bet
All right,
not.
the question is, do I want to try to embellish this room now or just keep rolling on just refining the characters and figure out the room later?
Just do the part that you feel like doing most right now.
It's always going to be characters over rooms.
Right?
Then
Same.
do the characters.
Yeah. I want to draw my little shitbird.
I love figuring out rooms.
I don't hate it. It's just more of this is a shifting gears sort of thing. I like it now, but do I want to do it right now?
What is also fun about my cousin going to Harvard is she was friends and classmates with that guy who wrote all that stuff about concussions in the NFL.
Uh-oh. The guy who eventually was a wrestler for like 3 seconds. Yeah.
Yes, he was very briefly a wrestler. He was Mr. Harvard because he went
to Harvard.
And that after his first concussion, he was like, "Oh shit, this is real bad for you," and then he dug into research for it.
Yeah. You know what I'm
I think that's cool.
Yeah, but the NFL hates his ass so much.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Oh, well,
like,
obviously. But...
yeah. Like,
yeah.
What does he care if the NFL hates him?
It's so fucking wild though that like it explains so many things that before we had this kind of knowledge were like utterly inexplicable, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That like when you get your head hit a whole shitload, it does genuine damage to your brain in a trackable, reproducible way that makes you more impulsive, more violent, more depressed, you know? And it explains so much about like people would be in the NFL for, 15 years. And then they, retire and everyone would see them off. And then, 10 years after that, there'd be the whatever happened to so-and-so article. And they were always in a really shit way. And you're like, fuck, I guess it's just, their own fault for, taking their wealth.
It was like a lot of people would like say, like, oh, pro athletes be like that or whatever. And it's interesting because then actually, if you look into it, a lot of retired like basketball players are fine, like because they didn't get hit in the head a bazillion times.
It's not usually a contact sport.
Yeah.
But not like football players. The story's different.
Like Michael Jordan has a gambling problem, but it is obviously not as big a problem as like he hasn't like lost his house over it.
Oh, can we talk about something real quick? Because my husband and I had a whole big discussion about this.
It depends.
And we came at an impasse.
I'm in screening mode.
Yeah,
okay,
this is really okay. Basically, here's the thing.
If I have to.
So I'm going to present you with a theoretical situation. Imagine that there is a man who is a very successful businessman.
A man, I'm already scared.
Stop it. He founds and runs a business and eventually sells it for early retirement, and he ends up with, let's say, $100 million fortune, right?
Mm-hmm.
This man goes to Las Vegas, and he is very quickly identified by the casino as a high roller. And as a result, he starts getting high roller perks. Like he gets free rooms, he gets free champagne, he gets, discounts on the chips he buys. He gets helicoptered in whenever he feels the urge to go to Vegas. He gets all the good shit. And as a result, because of all this good shit, maybe he had a pre-existing weakness for it, but regardless, because of all this good shit, and maybe because of, underlying depression and stuff, he develops a drinking problem. And as he drinks, he becomes much more reckless a gambler. Eventually, he gambles away most, if not all, of the $100 million that he made in business. Should the casino get in trouble for that?
It depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think it depends on. I think it depends on how long, this story takes place over.
Let's say over the course of 5 years.
It also depends on what you can prove they know. Like, it is.
They definitely know he's an alcoholic, and they definitely know he gambles like shit when he's drunk.
Well, so the thing is now they can get in trouble if they are informed someone has a gambling addiction and they don't kick the person out.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the line is, because if they're an alcoholic, they might have an addictive personality in general, so they might be addicted to gambling as well. And if the casino is informed that he is a gambling addict, they have to kick him out or they will get in trouble.
See, this is interesting because you're taking Matt's position on things. He thinks the casino has what's the word? It has a duty of care.
This isn't about duty. This is about law.
No, this is the law. The law, they legally have to kick him out if they are informed that he is a gambling addict. So if he is an alcoholic and not a gambling addict, they do not legally get in trouble.
Are you asking what our opinions on what should happen is?
Yeah, like if you were a person who could codify a law about this situation, would you hold the casino responsible for his loss of $100 million? Not because they knew he was a gambling addict, but they knew he was an alcoholic who gambled like shit when he was drunk.
Not for the full amount, but I would do it for what I would consider damages.
See, I think you
could probably quantify some damages there.
Because it's also
it also depends on what you can verify they knew and didn't know.
They definitely knew he was an alcoholic.
Okay, then if you could, then yes. No, it's not even that he's an alcoholic. If he is drunk and an alcoholic in there, if for any moment he was drunk, yes, they are responsible. Him being an alcoholic in general, you know what I mean?
I must be a terrible person.
Yes, we know that.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
We already know that.
It just depends, because again, it's about vulnerability. It's like, the way I'd view it is if you tell them he's an alcoholic, he has a diagnosed problem, and they let him gamble, I don't think it's a problem. If he is obviously drunk and they know this and he is gambling, they are in trouble. They should be in trouble.
Yeah, I think it's definitely they should be in this case. I don't think
that's what
they
we're
are.
talking.
Well, because there's also different types of gambling, Spike. Because if they're drunk and doing a slot machine, like that is more or less random. Like there is a way, like,
I mean, no, slot machines are extremely predatory, though.
Oh god,
like they are, but I'm just saying, like, what do you mean by gambles shittily? Because if you're drunk and playing poker, obviously you're going to lose that poker game because you are not able to use the skill that is involved to play poker.
This is fascinating to me because, like, I'm kind of one of those people where if there's one of those things that kind of makes your hackles raise, like I think a lot of people have those kind of like flashpoints where they could just like fucking go on a tear about why they don't like it. And for me, the thing that really fucking bugs me is people who fuck up and then somewhere down the line they turn around and point at you and go, "Why didn't you stop me?"
Here's the thing. My thing is,
Well, see,
literally anybody can be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. So, Spike, there's a difference between pointing to you as an observer, saying, "Why didn't you stop me?" and the casino actively taking advantage of a person that they are aware is vulnerable. So this isn't, "I was drunk and doing this stupid thing. Why didn't you stop me?" This is, "I was drunk. Why did you encourage me to walk on the tightrope?"
Yeah, you painted a situation where you went out of your way to paint the casino at fault is the thing.
Yeah, you're talking about the casino calculatedly being like, "We're gonna steal this drunk's money."
No, from what I have read, and I may not have the full story, I'm willing to admit that. From what I have read, he was treated identical to every other high roller.
That is not what you described.
Yeah, you said they knew that he is bad at gambling while drunk.
Yeah, they did. Well, everyone's bad at gambling while drunk.
No, not even that. You said he had you painted this person as someone who has borderline diagnosable problems that was taken advantage of on purpose.
Okay.
And I think that's bad, and that the casino would therefore be liable.
Yeah. So you and Matt is saying there is a question of diminished capacity, but there's also the question of cannot legally consent territory.
Yeah.
So this is why it's like all different shades of like, how much is the casino taking advantage of him being drunk? How much is like, because if they're treating him like everyone else, then maybe they don't know that he's a shittier gambler than while drunk. Like, they're just treating.
Like, if we're gonna go down the whole "you got him drunk and made him gamble" thing, again, they do that to everyone. Anyone who's been to Vegas knows that.
Like, again, that's why I asked. It depends on what they know. Like, just knowing, people make poor decisions when they're drunk. We know that, yes. But if they were informed at any point, this person, like, being drunk and an alcoholic are not the same thing.
Yeah.
These are extremely different
Either
things.
Tales is saying a casino is a place of moral hazard, so entering it puts you into that hazard.
Right, but even then, they still can't reach in your pocket and take your money. They still can't, like, steal your wallet from you. You know what I mean? There's still morals, there's still boundaries. There
is. I absolutely agree, but he did walk into the casino of his own free will every time.
Right, but if this person's genuinely an alcoholic and an addict, that is a factor. Like, it's not necessarily, I am making informed decisions. This is literally mental illness.
Yeah, that's true. But again,
I was about to say
I don't feel bad that they like lost billions, because I don't care about rich people, but I do care about. I'm more concerned here. I'm not concerned about this guy losing money. I am concerned about the casino being allowed to take advantage of the vulnerable.
Yeah.
So
I get what
this is less. I think he should be compensated, and more, I think the casino should be punished. Does that make sense?
I get you. Yeah, that's an interesting take.
Because also, he was asking for it. Is what you're saying, Spike?
Oh my God! Do not even. But look, the thing
that is the argument that people make.
Well,
like, okay, Spike. Let's say tomorrow I make tons of money.
Cool.
And I decide to go. No. And I decide to go to casino. I have depression, and it sometimes results in dissociation and mania.
Yeah.
If you find out that the casino took advantage of me having an obvious manic episode while I was there, what would your reaction be?
My reaction would be, that is a horrible shame. Amanda, I think you need to be medicated.
But I wasn't.
Yeah, but I think you do.
Yes, but that's it.
You asked what my reaction would be. That would be my reaction.
Gotcha. You wouldn't be mad at the casino at all?
I would not be angry at the casino to a degree that I feel is worth changing law or policy over.
Gotcha.
No. because I think the idea is like, if you're going to extrapolate how the rich guy should get a pass to everyone who goes to the casino.
A pass. When did I say a
pass? No, I'm talking about kind of what people are arguing for in general, not you personally. It's just sort of like, if you extrapolate that to everyone who goes into the casino, literally everyone could turn around the minute they lose at craps and be like, why didn't you stop me? You know I'd had 3 martinis.
No. Again, Spike, that's not the situation I described.
Yeah. There's a difference between an addict and someone who is
saying they
drunk in that moment
about it, and they intentionally ushered me towards like the poker table or something. They said, "Oh, look, this lady, we know she's having a manic episode. Get her over the poker table right now."
Yeah. And I'm not even saying that's morally defensible. I am just saying I would not be the person saying it's time to change casino policy.
And that's fair, but it's just whenever you keep like making comparisons, like no, this is not just this person's a little tipsy. Like there is a level. Like you go to the casino, if you get a little tipsy, that's on you. But there's other levels of personal.
Yeah, so this
now,
is
you could also argue I shouldn't be going to the casino if I know I have manic episodes, but like. Again,
a manic episode doesn't care that you shouldn't be going to the casino. Yeah,
exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm like, not saying you should go, oh, poor baby, but you should be going, they shouldn't be doing that. And I think, they should be punished for doing that. If you can prove that they knew, yes.
God. This is the Shamima Begum argument all over again, Matt. There is a woman from the UK who went and joined ISIS and recorded a lot of pro-ISIS content and married an ISIS terrorist, and enthusiastically, according to all reports, engaged in being an ISIS enforcer in Kurdish territories. And then when ISIS fell, she wound up in a camp for refugees from the caliphate. And now she's basically going on a "I'm sorry, please let me come back to Great Britain" tour. And Great Britain did a thing where they essentially, and here's the thing, I don't argue about this. I think what they did is not necessarily a good thing. I think it is, quite frankly, it has a lot of moral issues. But they did backflips to basically revoke her British citizenship. So now she's stateless. And so she cannot return to Great Britain, although she had been raised there ever since like infancy, and her parents live there, and her whole family's there. And so she is kind of stuck in this camp, and she makes it onto TV every once in a while saying, "Oh, I just want to come back to the UK. I want to come back. I'm sorry about all that ISIS shit." And the UK is like, "You renounce your citizenship, and we fucking rubber stamp that. You can't come back." And Matt is of the opinion she should be allowed to come back. And I'm of the opinion, I understand where he is coming from, but I am not a fan of governments going, "What you said didn't count." Well, if you renounce your citizenship should be renounced.
I am also confused about the correlation because
it's just things Matt and I disagree on. That's the only correlation.
Why did you just say that?
Yeah. So because
I thought there was like a correlation between these two discussions, and my brain was like, beep.
Basically, Spike, the problem with your casino thing is you started with an extreme, this man is vulnerable, and then as we said, yes, the casino should be published, you then turned it to the other extreme of someone who just had a few drinks. And
okay, well, the thing that I'm thinking of when I do stuff like that is I'm thinking in terms of the sort of force of law, not just this individual situation. Why not just tell us
that? You asked us
that now.
But you tricked us.
You didn't say that earlier. You didn't say that earlier.
You didn't want our genuine opinions. You were trying to get us in a weird gotcha.
No, I wasn't.
I'm confused.
You were.
I wasn't.
And also, Amanda gave a very good line where you have to prove the casino knew.
Yeah,
and
that is true.
That can be hard.
That can be extremely hard. I think that's actually, to what degree the casino is culpable is a thing that's kind of working its way through the courts right now.
Yeah.
And
And I do think, like,
Also,
if the
I wanna
casino
point
knew,
out, you can go
yeah.
back and rewind. Early in this conversation, I said, wait, are you asking us about laws or our feelings about it? And you said, oh, your
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah, I'm asking you about feelings.
But then you turned it back like, no, I'm not talking about
And then
feelings.
you changed it into laws. So
No, I'm not I'm talking about my feelings, which are dictated by how could this be construed by others.
All right.
No, I'm talking about the arguments you can. Never mind. It doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
there were some goalposts moving, and I was like, wait, what are we talking about
I didn't do
anymore?
that intentionally, and I do apologize for it.
Okay.
But when I think about, should this one get a mulligan? It's never a mulligan. It's basically going to turn into a citable case. That's just going. That's how law works. It turns into citable cases.
And
I
that's
don't
why
want
I think
anything about Shamima Begum or this one millionaire whose name I totally forget, former millionaire, whose name I forget, turning into citable law.
Well, so that's why
fair.
I think Amanda's thing of prove that the casino knew.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
good.
Yeah, I don't think it should be a blanket. Oh, you let this person, this alcoholic gamble. You're a bad. It needs to be a you knew, you had opportunity to stop them, and you said nah.
Because also,
you said nah,
I believe casinos have to kick you out when you reach a certain amount of drunk, like because as Matt says, there's a difference between diminished capacity and cannot legally consent. So once you are drunk enough that they cut you off drinking, they need to also cut you off gambling. Like,
I think that might be a law. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
in a lot of
it is.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of, and that is also why they have to kick you out if they're informed that you have a gambling addiction. Even if your friend is lying, like, and just wants you to stop gambling, if they say, oh, my friend has a gambling addiction, they have to kick your friend out. Like,
wow, that's horrible.
Yeah, but it's also
you should get better friends.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, but it's also I'd rather a non-addict get kicked out of a casino than an addict to be allowed in.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Your shitty friend is your thing to unpack.
Yeah, your shitty friend is your problem. Like, that's
But yeah, I like, I'm always very wary of just like, oh, okay, but what will this mean in 20 years once the world has gotten hold of it,
Which is, again, why I think the, like, if they know they have to kick you out is a good thing. Yeah. Like,
it really is about proving, did they actually know? What was intentional, what was not? I think that's where
Yeah, and also the kicking you out before when you get to that point of you cannot legally consent, that is to protect them from someone doing what you're suggesting someone might do. Yeah. Like,
gosh, listen to us having like actual conversations in front of people.
We could do this more often if you come hang out with me.
I don't want to hang out with you. You're not cool enough for me. Yeah. You don't draw comics about shitty dudes beating each other up.
I don't want to draw comics about shitty dudes beating each other up.
That's all I want to draw comics about.
I know.
Like, oh god, I complain on social media. I wish there was more like black girl representation in all these different genres. All I want to do is do shitty dude comics.
Oh, there's
all
tons.
I want.
I just feel like
garbage, awful dude.
Again, there's tons. I just feel like you're not actively looking.
No, I wanted to. I wish I had the interest in that kind of stuff, so I can make stuff in my specific flavor. But like, no, my flavor is just shitty dudes.
Again, it's out there. You just have to put in the legwork.
Oh, I know there's plenty of shitty dude content.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Spike is just saying that she's like, I wish there were more black girl comics, but I don't want to make them.
Yes.
Someone else go make them.
To be fair, I think even creators shouldn't have to, like, if I want to have something, I have to be the one to build it. I think that that's unfair. That is unfair.
My whole life, though.
I think it's unfair to people in general. Be like, well, if you want this so bad, why don't you make it? It's like, no, I shouldn't have to be the one to make it. That sucks. That sucks.
It's actually kind of funny because
something, I gotta make it.
That's where Lackadaisy came from, and like when Fable was pitching Lackadaisy around Hollywood, because here's the thing: before Fable and Tracy, excuse me, brought it to Iron Circus, they were pitching it around Hollywood, and the answer they always got is like, well, we don't wanna, but you seem really impassioned, so how about you do it yourself? And this was before people were really doing it themselves, so it was kind of a blow off, and then we actually did it ourselves.
And I just remember I was watching the Netflix Voltron show.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I really like this one character, but I wish that instead of a shitty dude, they were a shitty lesbian. And I was like, I would watch that show.
By the way, it's
Shitty Lesbian Space Adventures.
I would watch it if it were titled that exactly.
And so, because Spike, this is like the goofball character who is trying to flirt with ladies and getting rejected. And so I was like, if this character was a lady, I would watch that show constantly.
Yeah.
Like just a lesbian, like doing a horrible job flirting with different alien girls and getting blown off. As they had different space adventures. And someone was like, why don't you make it? And I was like, I don't want to draw space adventures.
Yeah.
I want to draw hot guys being horrible. But I will definitely read or watch shitty space lesbian adventures.
Yeah.
The burden of the people who want a thing be like having to make it is like, well, that means we're never going to get it because not everyone has the time or the energy or the resources. Like, yes, I want a lot more representation in a lot of things, but guess what? I can only make like maybe 2 comics at a time.
Right.
And it takes years. And it's just like, I still want things. My heart can desire what it cannot create.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes me think of how everyone reacted to Black Panther. Well, not everyone, Black people reacted to Black Panther, where this is gonna fucking stay with me for the rest of my fucking life. Where someone tweeted something like, "This must be what white people feel like all the time because they have like a million white superheroes." And someone replied, "No, this is not what they feel like all the time because they are so used to everything looking like them that it's not an event when it does." Like,
I remember someone like when Black Panther came out, like being like, "Oh, are we now gonna have like a fantasy thing that's inspired by every different culture?" And I was like, "Well, listen, if they're all as good as Black Panther, sure, let's do it."
What is the problem with that?
Yeah. What's the problem?
How is that bad?
Like if they're all good, who cares?
Yeah, it's like only you get to play with this ball. Really?
Yeah.
Is that the argument? But yeah. But I have never been catered to the same way certain demographics of this society have. And I think kind of everyone in this room, in this chat rather, can say that too. Like we have never been catered to like that. So when we find something that, hits all the buttons and we just
the neurons have activated.
We get neuron activation. We lose our fucking minds for it.
You know what my problem is? Is I love prestige TV, but also trashy werewolf vampire shit.
I thought your
so
was
my
that you're
perfect
to nightshade.
That too. But so because of that, I feel like unless I make it, I'm never gonna get a show that is basically Mad Men but with werewolves.
Or you could just put it into the ether. I mean, that's how.
That's the fucking weirdest pitch ever.
Well, no, because what I mean by that, Spike, is like because Mad Men puts a lot of thought into like themes and symbolism and like subtle character development and like I want that, but I also want werewolves.
I know the feel.
Yeah, so that's what I mean is like like Mad Men has like there's that one season where Dawn and Ted Shaw are competing for creative control, and Ted is always wearing yellow and Dawn is always wearing blue, and everyone in the office is wearing different amounts of yellow and blue to show whose side they're on. Like,
Yeah.
I want that attention to detail put on a show about werewolves.
And it's never going to happen unless you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want like stuff like Don goes outside in his underpants in the freezing cold because his life is empty and he needs to feel something, and the cold is the only thing he can feel.
Yeah.
But with werewolves.
See, what I would want, I think, is just like, God, like the thing is, I can't. Maybe I'm just not absorbing enough media. I'm happy to believe that, and if y'all can think of something like this, like feel free to correct the shit out of me. But like, I just love like shitty black girl adventures where she's not interested in being like a cheerleader, or she's not interested in being a Harvard grad, or she's not interested in being, you know, the smartest girl at NASA. I just want like a shitty garbage black girl who is like shitty and garbage the way like Scott Pilgrim gets to be.
You can just break my contract and sign a kill fee. It's fine.
Like,
publish my comic. It's
like,
fine.
So, because like there is a way. I think part of my like sort of obsession with garbage guys and why I like drawing garbage guys is garbage guys are super fun, and that kind of is a testament to what's really popular in pop culture. Like Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, Scott Pilgrim, Rick from Rick and Morty. You know, they are these. Don Draper, they get Pete, your fave, your problematic.
My favorite. I love Pete. He's my favorite. He's and horrible.
Like, guys get to be shitty and awful, but also super charismatic and sympathetic in this way that I never get to see black girls be. And if you tried to make media that way, everyone I feel would probably just hate the black girl and bounce right off her in a way they would never bounce off Don Draper or Rick from Rick and Morty.
Spike, have you seen Insecure?
I have had it recommended to me, but I do not have HBO.
She is not as shitty as Don Draper or Pete Campbell, because let's face it, society in general does not let black women be that shitty.
Yeah.
But she is pretty, like, I feel like maybe not, maybe like if Scott Pilgrim was 10 years older, like, and a little bit more together because he is 10 years older, that's like her level of fuck upness. Because she is like absolute, like her life is a mess kind of deal. And that's why it's funny.
Okay.
But like I said, she is not as awful as the Don Drapers and stuff of the world. Because
I like awful.
Yes, I also
well, you know,
like
I can't lie about it. There's the element there too where it's like I get to like portray them as really shitty and awful and garbo, but then, you know, on page 100 I fucking pull out the reverse Uno card and oops, turns out that they're just real sad. And I love that fucking cliche shit. I love it. I love it.
I love BoJack Horseman.
Yes, exactly.
But like part of why I really liked Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is because the main character, she described herself as like a peppy Walter White. So she is like super upbeat and peppy, but she is an absolutely horrible person. She is stalking her ex-boyfriend, like, and you are gonna watch and enjoy her every step of the way as she sings musical songs about stalking her ex-boyfriend. And then but yeah, no, I want more shitty, awful, terrible people. The Nerdist is saying Wendell and Wild is the only thing they can think of. or the nudist, not the nerdist.
Yeah, that's that
And
not stop motion, but made to look.
Yeah.
No, it is stop motion.
Oh, it really
it
is.
is.
It's not
It's
CGI?
really
It's stop motion. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's pretty cute. I recommend it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was really good. There's some pacing issues in the middle, but it's overall very good. I feel like there were a couple of scenes that they maybe could have condensed or
Can
cut.
I be honest?
But
I don't think I've ever seen a stop motion movie that didn't have pacing issues. I feel like it's
you know what?
Wow.
You know what I think it is,
I think
Amanda?
it's a staple of the genre.
Wow.
Well, here's what I think it is.
This is one of my favorite genres, but I think
I actually can think of one thing that did not have pacing issues and is stop motion. I believe it is called Mary and Max. You can watch it for free on YouTube. It opened Sundance a while ago.
But the reason why I think it has pacing issues, I kind of feel like by the time they maybe realized that this could have used more touch up on the script, they had already animated it, and so they spent a lot of money and time doing this stop motion animation.
Yeah.
So we can't cut this because we already finished the scene. So we're leaving it in the movie because sunk cost fallacy.
But just so everyone here, and yes, we do know what time it is. We're just having a lovely conversation right now. But Mary and Max, I think that's what it's called. I do
want to wrap it up because I would rather be working on Starry Night right now. I just can't do it while streaming.
Okay. Before we wrap it up, I just want to recommend, like I said, it's free to watch on YouTube with ads. It is an animated short film, like 40, 50 minutes long, I think. And it is about pen pals. Mary lives in Australia and Max lives in New York City. And it is very sweet and interesting. And as told to me by people who actually live with Asperger's, probably one of the most realistic
portrayals. This is an old thing.
It's not new. Okay. And to let you know how not new it is, I think it was one of the last roles of Philip Seymour Hoffman. So he plays Max in the movie. And I just really, really like how he plays Max. And I think the movie is very, very well done and interesting. And it does not have pacing issues. And it is stop motion. Anyway, we should probably wrap it up so Amanda can get to drawing Starry Night and get away from me, because it's clear that he wants to.
Spike, I'm the one who begs to hang out with you all the time and you snub me. How dare you?
You want to go to Christ Kindle Market?
Yeah.
Christ Kindle Market is this weekend. We can go up to the Christ Kindle Market and we could have raclette sandwiches.
Yeah, I would love that, Spike. You know I would love that.
Let's do that then. Let's do that. I don't know how you feel about like melted Swiss, but that's what raclette basically is.
I'm white. I love melted cheese.
We can also get currywurst. That's also very white.
I don't know what that is.
The British went to Germany after World War I.
I don't want a history lesson. Never mind. This is like when you try to look up a recipe and like you have to read like 5 paragraphs about that person's day before you get to the recipe.
It is German sausages covered in a curry sauce, often served with French fries.
Nice. That sounds interesting.
That is currywurst. It is considered like, we just got out of the bar. It's 3 a.m. We're drunk, but we're also hungry food.
Great.
Yes.
That's the best kind of food.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for coming. I am being bullied off of my own podcast by my friends. I am Spike.
I could keep going. I know Amanda wants to leave.
No. Yeah. Amanda wants to leave though, so I'm going to keep drawing too because I'm in a groove. And
baby girl, stop it.
Yeah, Amanda is talking to her hideous child.
Not hideous, beautiful, perfect.
Everybody, please like, fave, and follow because we do this weekly. I'm Spike. The comic I am drawing is called Blickata. It's a comic about 3 shitty criminal siblings and the terrors that will be visited upon them very, very shortly, and the terrors they have already visited upon other people. Their names are Bettany, Eki, and Ta. It is inspired by Bolshevism, the history of Russia, how revolutions often fail the revolutionaries, and my love of sad, sad boys. Blikada.com, BLIKADA.com. If the domain is fucking up on you, just go to Pillow Fort. That is where the comic is currently being posted and updated. I say currently very generously because I haven't updated it in 9 months. But as you can see, that is about to change, everyone. I'm pleased to say. Pillow Fort is a blogging community. I strongly suggest that you get a spot there because it is user supported, and that means it's not subjected to the whims of advertisers. My site on pillowfort.social my site is at pillowfort, spelled just like it sounds, .social/Iron Spike. I'm Iron Spike everywhere that matters these days. I'm Iron Spike on pillowfort.social. I'm Iron Spike on cohost.org. I'm Iron Spike on Blue Sky. You can follow me in all those places. I run Iron Circus Comics. It's a comics company and fledgling animation studio. We are responsible for Lackadaisy. Go to lackadaisy.com to read the comic and search Lackadaisy on YouTube to watch the animated shorts. Thank you.
I'm Kel McDonald. You can read my stuff at kelmcdonald.com. I also want you to know, when a man dies, it is sad. Lester was a man.
Stealing us in time. Time, man.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you can find all my stuff at kelmcdonald.com.
I hate we say is going to lock us in time.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Henry Kissinger just died, and that's great.
Anyway.
I'm sad he lived so long.
Yeah, that's the real tragedy, that he lived so long.
Only the good die young, am I right?
Yep. Anyway, that's proof that we're all awful.
I already knew.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't like social media, but all my stuff is linked on my website. I also stream at twitch.tv/KelMcDonald, so follow me there. And have a good one.
I'm Amanda Lafrene. I actually kind of sort of got my website half done. If you go to amandalafrene.com, that's LAFRENAIS, that is now a little hub that links to all of my shit. I am still finishing the back end where I'm just moving my blog there. I'm just saying, screw it. I'm going to put all my shit there, but it's not done yet because the Patreon integration keeps messing up. Anyway.
Oh, that does not work. Period.
It does not work. I'm so mad at it. I'm giving up on it. I've been trying to get the Patreon.
It has not worked since it came out.
God,
they have just never fixed it.
Well, I tried some of my own workarounds. They don't work. I give up. I'm just gonna have to delete a bunch of stuff and some coding that I tried myself. I'm over it. Anyway, my hub is up so you can at least get directories to all my shit. Also, I recently made an account on bookshop.org where if you go to amandalafrene.com, there's a new way to support me aside from coffee and Patreon and all that stuff. I made basically I made a list of comics that I have worked on, and it's basically an affiliate system. I earn affiliate commission stuff if you just buy one of the books on that list. So if you're interested in buying a comic and it's on that list, I will get a little baby cut of it.
Yay.
That's all.
Thank you for coming, everyone. I'm so glad I'm drawing during these.
Yeah.
I'm actually fucking drawing. This is literally kind of the only time I get to draw all week, so thank you.
This is why I've been drawing the whole time we've been doing this. Because it's a great idea. And
there's one last glamour shot of these two brutalizing one another before we sign off for the evening. Thank you for coming.